Most officers retire with stories they never tell anyone. Not because the job was uneventful, but because some things don't have an explanation. These are 3 of those calls. I've been a canine handler for nearly 9 years. My partner is a 4-year-old German Shepherd named Rex. He's trained in tracking and narcotics detection. One of the most reliable dogs I've ever worked with. Loud environments, abandoned buildings, pitch black woods. None of it phases him. That's why what happened that night never left me. We were called in to assist patrol after a foot pursuit. Officers had tried to stop a suspect a few blocks away, but he ran. They chased him through backyards and lost sight of him near a quiet residential property. When they got there, they found the side gate open and the back door unlocked. Neighbors reported hearing what sounded like a struggle. Patrol cleared the first floor, but something didn't feel right. They weren't confident the house was safe. That's when they called us in. Rex and I arrived about 20 minutes later. The house was a 2-story place in a quiet neighborhood. No signs of forced entry out front. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I put Rex on a short leash and gave him the command to search. He moved immediately, focused, controlled. We cleared the first floor quickly. Living room, kitchen, laundry. Nothing. Then we headed upstairs. The air felt stale up there. No windows open, no airflow, just silence. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. We checked the first bedroom. Clear. Second bedroom. Clear. Then Rex pulled toward the bathroom at the end of the hall. Inside, everything looked clean, nothing disturbed. Rex sniffed along the floor, around the sink, then suddenly froze. His ears shot forward, his entire body went rigid. Then he growled. Low at first, then louder. Then he started barking aggressively, but not at anything inside the bathroom. He was staring out into the hallway. I stepped back with him, my pulse starting to climb. "What is it?" I whispered. Rex didn't move. He was locked onto something. I followed his line of sight. And that's when I saw it. At the far end of the hallway, a figure. Tall, dark, completely still.
It didn't look like any officer on scene, and no one had announced themselves. At that point, I knew something was wrong. Every officer was accounted for. No one else should have been upstairs.
Radioed in. Possible suspect located. End bedroom. Start moving up. I tried to move forward. Rex resisted the entire way. He kept looking back at me, like he didn't understand why I was making him go. When we reached the doorway, He refused to enter. Wouldn't even cross the threshold. I stepped inside first, weapon raised, ready. The room was empty. Completely empty. Just a bed, a dresser, closet clear, window closed. No attic access, no crawl space. Nothing. The others came upstairs moments later. We searched everything. Walls, floors, bathroom again. No hidden doors, no way out. Rex stayed in the hallway the entire time. He refused to enter that room, even when the other officers tried to coax him in. Nothing worked. After about 20 minutes, I took him outside. The moment we stepped into the night air, he relaxed. But before we left, he looked back at that hallway. That room. Like something was still there. Rex has tracked armed suspects without hesitation. He's gone into far worse environments than that house. But that room? He wouldn't go inside. And I trust that dog more than I trust my own instincts. Everyone in this job has at least one call they can't explain. That one was mine.
I joined the police force when I was 21. It was a small, remote town. They needed officers. I needed money. Simple as that. As a rookie, I got the night shift, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Most nights were quiet. Traffic stops, drunk drivers, the occasional disturbance. Sometimes it even felt peaceful. Until one night changed everything. A severe thunderstorm rolled in. Power outages hit most of the town. At around 2 a.m., dispatch received a call. A man claiming he had been kidnapped. He said he was being held inside a house. Then the call cut out. When dispatch called back, no answer. I was the closest unit. I responded immediately and requested backup. Another officer, Chris, said he'd meet me there. But before I arrived, dispatch added something strange. The caller sounded like he was disguising his voice, like a young girl. That didn't sit right with any of us. When I reached the house, the entire street was dark. No streetlights, no power. Chris was already there. We approached together. The house looked abandoned. Overgrown yard, boarded windows, roof falling apart. Everything about it felt wrong. We knocked. After a few seconds, footsteps approached the door, then stopped. Like someone was just standing there, watching. The peephole darkened. Then, suddenly moved. Someone had been staring at us.
The door opened slowly. A man stood there, early 30s, nervous, sweating. We told him about the call. He claimed it was a mistake, a pocket dial. But something in his eyes didn't match his story. We got a warrant, entered the house. Inside was worse than expected. Filth everywhere, rotting food, insects crawling across the floor. Then I saw it. A child's toy. A dollhouse. Clean. Out of place. I asked if he had kids. He said no, claimed his nieces visited sometimes. I didn't believe him. Further inside, things got worse. A room full of children's items, diapers, toys, and a life-size doll dressed like a person, sitting in a chair, watching. The basement door was at the end of the hall. He begged us not to go down there. That's when I knew. Someone was inside. We went anyway. And behind that final door, we found him. A man. Alive. Held captive for 2 years. He had used Siri to call 911. That voice, the reason he sounded like a child, was because he had been forced to speak that way for so long. He didn't know how to sound normal anymore.
Story 3. No body, no answers. Late October, 2:40 a.m. A 911 call reported a woman screaming. Then, silence. When I arrived, the front door was slightly open. Inside, everything looked normal. Too normal. Until I found the blood upstairs, in the bathroom, fresh, but no body. Then I heard movement downstairs. A door I hadn't noticed before led to a basement. Inside, a chair, zip ties, and a large pool of blood. Then, movement. A figure ran, smashed through a basement window. Gone. We never found them. The homeowner? Missing. To this day. The neighbor swore she heard a woman screaming, but no woman was ever connected to that house. No evidence she was ever there. Some calls don't end. They don't get solved. They don't fade. They just stay with you.